fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Teddy Atlas, Moses Itauma, Oleksandr Usyk. Get this. Teddy Atlas urges caution to Moses Itauma. He said, let Itauma climb a few peaks before facing Usyk. Okay? And he went on to say, that let him get one or two more fights before going on to the top Mount Everest. I don't want to see the Usyk fight yet. He's not discrediting Itauma, far from it, but when talking about a generational star like Usyk, Atlas believes that timing and respect for career progression are crucial. And let me counterpunch. Teddy Atlas is pretty much saying the same thing I've been saying. You know, I think there's levels to this. And if there's levels to this, we know that there's steps to this, okay? When we say levels, that means there's levels to accomplish and to get to. You know, you need to do some stepping up, okay? That's what defines levels from levels, steps to get to that level, to that next level, if that makes sense to anybody. And I think Moses Itauma blasting out Dillian White, you know, I think we get really too carried away with certain actions and outcomes of fights. I think we get too carried away because there's always factors to consider. And I'm not talking about bullshit excuses like injuries or anything or distraction. No, I'm talking about ring rust. I'm talking about father time. I'm talking about style matchups, you know, the timing. All that is important when seeing a certain outcome. Example, we see Moses Itauma dismantle Dillian White pretty quick, easy. I don't even think Dillian White landed a punch, maybe a jab, if that, right? But understand, this is not the Dillian White from 2017 or 18 or even 19. This is the Dillian White from 2025, the same Dillian White that's been out of the ring for a while. His last two fights, with both guys quit, he did not have the rounds really to be comfortable with. 8 months ago, those fights occurred. One at the beginning of the year, one at the very end of the year, and they both ended the same bullshit way where the fighters quit. So he really didn't get what he intended to get anyway. You know, I would have fought another fight this year, which he was going to fight Joe Joyce, as we know, and that didn't happen. Okay, so a lot of things that were in store for Dillian White didn't happen for Dillian White. And then he fights Moses Itauma out of nowhere, the same Moses Itauma that's been blasting people out of the water for a while, younger, stronger, hungrier, active. Okay, so yeah, I think that fight was going to go that way, and I'm not surprised it went that way. But what I won't do, I won't just push this guy ahead of everybody that deserves to fight Usyk just to see a fight, just to see if he can do it. Because I don't even think that's the point. I think the point is, does he deserve to do it? People get that word so misconstrued. Does Moses Itauma deserve a title shot? And the answer is no, it's not. Because what happens if he gets beat? It's going to be everybody that pushed his ass to that pressure point to take fights that he didn't deserve and he didn't need to be in at this point of his career. And it's not fair to him. It's not fair to us. Okay, and it's not really fair to Usyk because Usyk pretty much won't get credit for beating up Moses. Maybe he will because it's Usyk, because now everybody's in love with Usyk. But at the same time, people are looking at that like, okay, hardcores like myself will look at that like, you know what? Moses fought him too early, and we never know how good Moses would have became because they tried to shove Moses in our face like he was the golden goose, and where the golden goose needed to be primed and the time needed to take. And they didn't respect levels to this. They didn't. So this is what you will receive. And see, Teddy Atlas knows better than to go overboard with exaggerating to think, oh man, this dude did this and did that based on Dillian White, a guy that we just explained on all the reasons that he could have got his ass whooped the way he got his ass whooped. You see what I'm saying? So I think people really need to calm down on the Moses Itauma thing. I think he will be a star if we let him be a star. But I also think that the people that are in charge of him, I know people are full of shit. People are filled with mindset and ambition and greed. And I do think, because of that, people will push fighters in situations that they don't need to be in for the money. So I do agree with Teddy Atlas 100%. I do think that Moses Itauma needs to take those steps to get to those levels. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.